Okay, for anyone who actually is interested in going ahead and doing that, like how for anyone who has no idea what they're doing, firstly, if they want to buy a Chromebook and they want to stick Linux on it, what should they be looking for with that? And once they've got something, sort of what do you do with it? How do you even start to get anything that's usable?
Right. So we have documentation at docs.chrultrabook.com. Yeah, this name is a mouthful, but that was a cool stars idea. So basically, we go over through unlocking the write protect, which on most TI or CR50 devices is either disconnect the battery, boot with USB-C power adapter that supports 15-volt power delivery mode, or if you have SUSE cable, you can just do this without opening the device. There is an exception to this, being Intel Jasper Lake platforms.
Mhm.
On Intel Jasper Lake platforms, you need to open the device and find the jumper, and not all of them have it. There is a trick you can do. Do I have anything with SPI chip that I can show? Mm, Probably not on hand, but when you have the SPI chip, you have 8 legs.
Mhm.
Let's say you have chip select, MISO, write protect, ground, VCC, hold, MOSE, and clock.
Mhm.
If you breach pins 3 and pin 8, that is write protect and VCC. While the system is running, you can run a flash ROM in the loop with write protect disable, and then you get rid of the write protection without using anything but a paper clip. But then again, you need to know hardware and how to do that, right?
Mhm.
But once you get over that, you flash the firmware and you basically grab, as long as it's x86, because ARM is still a work in progress, you basically grab like a distribution like OpenSUSE, Fedora, Arch, anything that is fairly recent. It has to have at least kernel 6.6.
Mhm.
Uh, so as long as it has the kernel 6.6 or newer, and there is an exception to that rule, if you have Ryzen 7000 Mendocino,
Mhm.
you need kernel 6.8 to have properly working audio. But other than that, as long as you use like up-to-date distro, then stuff mostly works. With and post-install, you have to do 2 steps. One, if you have Intel Tiger Lake, which is 11th generation or newer, like 11, 12, 13, I think 14 gen, you need to get our workaround to load kernel modules in appropriate order.
Mhm.
I still haven't had time to fix this bug. It basically comes down to you have in 11th generation Intel introduced so-called Intel PMC MOOCs or something like that. Basically, when the Linux loads, it wants to load the, I think it first loads the Cross EC Type C, which is a Chrome embedded controller module first, and that prevents the PNC MOOCs from binding correctly. If you unload both of those modules and load Intel PMC MOOCs first, then Cross EC Type C, then USB-C will work correctly.
Mhm.
And then you also need the Sound Open firmware, basically like firmware blobs, which on most distributions should be installed by default, but not all of them do. And from Tree, and his nickname is Weird Tree Thing on Git and stuff. You basically have to get UCM, which is also Use Case Manager config files.
Mhm.
It basically tells ASA and Linux how to use then how to configure the sound card. Then once that you have those two things done, you reboot, and basically everything should be working.
Should be.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get into edge cases where, you get platform that we haven't really worked on. Like, we have some people who buy like brand new 14, 15 gen machines, and, you know,
Mhm.
and considering we support over 250 machines at the moment,
Mhm.
it can be a bit challenging for people.
Right, right. So if you want to have a better experience, you're better off finding something that is on the supported list and going with that. But hey, if you want to have a bit of a journey and see what happens, there are new
Yeah.
Chromebooks always being made.
I mean, that's basically how I first got into like proper Linux kernel development,
Mhm.
because back in 2022, I bought a Chromebook that wasn't supported, and while trying to flash beta firmware from Matt, I bricked it. So I jumped onto Discord and we started talking. We started working on the patches, getting it working. And before I knew it, people started reaching out to me. Hey, I have this hardware I don't need. Do you want it to add support and stuff? And you know,
And just
it's
went
I
from
would say
there.
it's yeah, I mean, if you just want to start working with like either kernel or firmware development, I think that's a great place to start.
Mhm. So before we I think like yesterday or something, you said you were going to have a pile of Chromebooks. Do you actually have those with you?
Yes. Okay, which one you want to see the first?
Whatever you want to grab.
So the first one on top of the last is the latest one.
Mhm.
This is Kohaku. It's a 10th generation Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. It has a very nice 4K AMOLED screen.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna let it boot because it will take a moment, and I will have to type in my Lux password. But it's actually very nice. It has
Ooh,
pen
stylus.
support. Yep. However, uh, as a part of the project, we usually find a lot of design flaws in the hardware.
Uh-huh.
In this case, you see this machine is so thin, it's fanless. It's a 10th generation fanless Core i5.
Uh-huh.
As you can imagine, it runs pretty hot. It runs so hot that it destroys the trackpad and the backlight circuit.
Does it wait, is that like a problem with it running too hot under Linux, or does it do that under Chrome OS as well?
Yep. It also does it on Chrome OS. Like people running Chrome OS were reporting that their trackpad stopped working, and after sending it to Samsung, they replaced the top case with
Ah.
trackpad and stuff.
Oh my god. Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
let's see if I can. Oh, yep. That I put in Samsung Galaxy Chromebook O, and the first thing is overheating. I see. Why is my Chromebook so hot? I think my Chromebook is overheating. How to overheat a Chromebook? I don't know why you'd want to know that. Chrome. Yeah. Okay. It sounds like this is a badly designed device.
Yep. And it keeps going.
Hmm.
This is Eldred, HP. Let me double check that. HP Chromebooks X360 14C, which is 11th generation, and uh, it tends to lock up for random, you know, and not all of them do. Um and we found that most likely the cause of the overheating is that here you have like a round trips that are covered with heat shield,
Right.
and it's very close to the CPU. So if we still are trying to debug this because only me and the other developer have the same problem with this machine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you install the heat shield as it is by default, it you see that the embedded controller is reporting external press hot asserted, and either your system slows down to a crawl because it starts to throttle, or it just freezes.
Right. Well, at least it's not melting the trackpad.
Yes, although I have to say that battery life on this is pretty decent. Like, according to reviews, it was like 6-7 hours in Chrome OS. Mine has 80% of the battery life left, and under Linux it's lasting 8 hours.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And later I can hook it up to the HDMI and show you a thing you can do that people usually don't think they can do on the Chromebooks.
Hey.
This one is one of the ARM ones. I got it from a person who saw my talk at the Chaos Communication Congress. If I boot it up, it should boot into Fedora. I'm still working on firmware, and I think the battery might be dead. Oh, that's not a very good live demo. But yeah, basically, we're working on that.
Mhm.
We're at the point where most stuff works. Video output is not working, but there is no standardized way to boot Linux on them yet. So I'm working on U-boot, which will provide like EFI capable payload.
Mhm.
It's kind of like what Asahi Linux does, except instead of chain loading, in our case, we will just take Coreboot, which will do hardware initialization, load U-boot, which will enable the frame buffer, and so on, and then just boot into like Linux kernel, like systemd boot, whatever.
Mhm.
And I have another one. But wait, there is more. Yeah, so this is Crane. This is Lenovo
Ooh,
Duet.
that's a cute one.
Yep, it's a tablet. And okay, I think I also forgot to charge it, and something is stuck to the magnet. I forgot to charge it, but basically I have a post-market OS running on it. And the nice part about Chromebooks, the modern ones,
Mhm.
is that if you have so-called USI pen,
Mhm.
Universal Stylus Initiative, you can use one pen on all of them. I know that I think Tuxedo and some other vendors also adopted that technology. So
That's
with
cool.
like $20, yeah, like $20 stylus, you get like pen pressure. You don't get the tilt, but you can actually draw with it.